In this video, we're going to show why a black box is all about the bass. Hi, I'm Alan Sircom, and let me start with an apology. I've been fighting industrial grade man flu for some weeks, and my voice is a casualty of that war. I sound like I've been smoking a campfire, and I have nothing left but bass in my voice, which is a useful segue to the Synergistic Research Black Box, which is a small device designed to sit between your loudspeakers and actually stabilize bass in a way that other systems really can't. Bass is a problem with audio, and a bigger problem in smaller rooms. The length, breadth and height of a small room is often of a similar resonant frequency to low frequencies from a loudspeaker, which means the room will sing along with the bass, and it won't sing very sweetly. It'll boom, pretty much is the big thing. It'll make big bass noises, which aren't as good as it sounds. It's not like rich, deep reggae bass notes. It's horrible thrumming sounds that boom and blare at you. Normally, the way you resolve those is by either using bass traps, which are large pieces of material that generally sit in the corners of rooms, which is difficult to do in a small domestic listening room because the room's small. You're taking up some of the space with the bass trap. The other option is to use signal processing, digital signal processing, to correct for the room equalization correction, which there are a number of systems. All of these work well. The third way, of course, is to use bass limited speakers. It's why if you see a British home with a tiny 10 by 12 or 12 by 16 room, it'll often have small two-way loudspeakers. It's why the KEF LS50s are so popular. It's why the LS35As are so popular. They don't reach down into the bass notes, and that works in a room where the bass notes just start to sing of their own volition. But there are other things. We can correct all of that. We can make that work well. But what we tend to do is we focus on just getting the bass depth. We don't focus on the texture of the bass, on the way the bass sounds and feels. It doesn't integrate as well with the treble and mid-range. It can do, and in a way, this is what Synergistic Research are trying to do. This is something they've been doing with all manner of their products. They have a concept called UEF, or Unified Energy Fields, which is working in the room to try and make that room dial out. And in a way, the black box helps that. Now, it's a very simple device, deceptively simple. It's not an active device. You put it in your space, between the loudspeakers, preferably, and anything from 3 inches from a rear wall, preferably not behind the loudspeakers. There are other places you can sight it. You can sight it off axis, not between the speakers, but to the left or to the right. But at that point, it needs to be at least in line with the loudspeakers and preferably in front. You can put more than one unit in. And it's the same thing throughout. It's a small device, which just has 3 armor-piercing spikes, and that's it. That's all it does. You put it in, you listen, and the bass just gets better. It won't make my voice sound more resonant because it's full of cold, but it will just give it that bit more fluidity and texture and precision and focus, and make it a bit more musical. And it's surprising how important that is. It's surprising how much we've avoided that. It makes your speakers sound more like they should do. And I think that's an important addition. And that's certainly one of the reasons why we look at it now from a perspective of a hard acoustician who looks in terms of everything, in terms of very, very hard science. This probably isn't going to shake their tree, because the UEF system concept is is probably a bit left field for them. And usually they'll want something that's several times the size of the black box. But for the rest of us, this is a bonus. This helps bring your system out, helps bring the base of your system more in line with the rest of your system. And I think that's an important aspect that we fail to consider. I think it's worth listening to. It's worth an audition. And certainly when I've taken more lemon, honey, and probably some whiskey, I'll be doing some more listening to it. Thank you.